Introduction to Music Theory Module 3. Meter regulates time in music through beats and rhythm. Meter can be simple, compound, asymmetrical, also called odd, and free. It is expressed through the time signature, for which we said is written on the staff right after the clef and key signature. Time signature features two Arabic numerals, place one on top and the other at the bottom of the staff. The top number tells us how many, and the bottom number tells us of what. How many refers to the number of beats in a measure, 2, 3, or 4. This also determines the conducting pattern. Of what refers to the unit of measurement or the value of note that represents one beat. This value could be a 16th note, an eighth, a quarter, half note, or a whole note. The example shown represents time signature where there are 4 beats and the note duration value of each beat is 1 quarter. But what is a quarter note? Quarter note is a specific note duration in given context. Duration dimension of notes is represented by their rhythmic value. Notes can last for a very short, long, and very long time, all depending on the context of tempo, which is speed of performance, and time signature they belong to. The rhythmic value of a note is depicted by the head, stem, and a flag. Hollow, empty heads imply longer, filled-in heads shorter notes, and flags on stems the short-lasting notes. Here is a chart of notes' rhythmic values. It looks like a family tree. The founder of the family is the whole note on top that consists of 2 half notes. Each half note is worth 2 quarters, and each quarter is worth 2 eighths. 1 eighth has 2 16th notes. In other words, there are 16 16th notes in a whole note, 8 eighth notes in a whole note, 4 quarters, or 2 halves. Practice all these combinations. For example, how many 8 notes are there in 1 half note? Or how many 16 notes in 1 quarter? Here is the rest durations chart, with values in the same order, starting from whole rest on top, half rest, a quarter rest, 8 and 16 rests. Note that the whole rest is written hanging from the 4th staff line, half rest sitting on the 3rd line, and a quarter rest is similar to letter Z. We could see from the note and rest duration charts that each of these note values is subdivided into 2 notes of the next generation, so to speak. One note consists of 2 notes, each half of the initial note's value. So, the subdivision for these values is into 2. This concerns the bottom number of the time signature. Also, each of these notes has their beat value. That concerns the top number of the time signature. Now that we know note and rest durations, we can more precisely assign meaning to the time signature. The first 3 time signatures here are the most frequently ones used. In the 2 quarters, the top number 2 tells us that there are 2 beats. The bottom, number 4, tells us that the beat unit is a quarter. Same for the next 2 examples. The last 2 examples are less frequently used, but the logic is the same. In 2 halves time signature, the top number 2 tells us that there are 2 beats, and the bottom number tells us that the beat unit is a half note. In the last example, there are 4 beats, and each beat is worth 1 eighth note. We've put together the note duration value, beat value, subdivision value, and the assigned value in a given time signature. Now is the time to decipher the title of this chapter, called Simple Time. Simple time refers to the bottom number of the time signature, the subdivision of the beat. Subdividing into 2, such as 2 eighths in a quarter, is simpler than subdividing into 3, which characterizes the compound time. Both simple and compound meter can have 2, 3, or 4 beats, and according to that are called simple or compound duple, triple, or quadruple time. Duple means 2 beats, triple means 3, and quadruple means 4 beats per measure. When we say that in simple time the beat is subdivided into two, on the staff it means that 8 notes are grouped in 2 and beamed in 2 or in 4, not in 3 or 5. And the grouping coincides with the beat. That is, we group notes into 1 beat or 2 beats, so the subdivision corresponds with the beaming practice. But music would be constrained if these were the only tools at disposal. So in order to extend the note value and move the beat accent, we use ties and dots. Ties prolong the note value by the value of following note it is tied to, and dots prolong note value by half. I think this was enough for the highlights of the module 3, so we'll end here.